Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Hope you're doing fantastically well. Apologies for lack of videos last few days. Been absolutely hammering some research amongst other things, so bear with us. We've got a big weekend ahead. So guys, today's topic, Verasity, VRA on the chart. Of course, one of our biggest bags here at Whales of Wall Street and one of our favourite bags for sure. Those that aren't familiar with Veracity, we have done some intro videos. You can go check those out. I will leave links at the end of this, and you might see a pop up in a second as well. But do watch this one first, obviously. So we're going to talk more about the eSports side. We've got the launch next week as well of some eSports tournaments and things through the Verasity eSports player as well. And this is an opportunity really for anyone and everyone to be starting to earn crypto, and especially VRA. So really exciting times. This is what this kind of project was mostly geared up to. Of course, it has other things in the pipeline as well as integration of things already in play right now. We've already gone through things like the proof of view mechanism around NFTs, the proof of view for streaming and things like that as well. And also, around the proofs of NFT purchases and verifications and things like that. So go check those previous videos out as well. I think it was the last one we did actually. Just touching on that a bit more. Before we go into the chart, guys, I just want to bring you guys a top level sort of understanding really of esports. So we've talked about this quite a lot in the past. But because of our general experience in esports through partnerships and things like that, we kind of know, or have known for a long time, how esports will continue to grow and continue to be a big part of viewership experience, not just physically, but also through streaming methods as well. So I just want a couple of things here. So some of you might have heard of the game League of Legends. Some will see it as LOL with 2 capital L's. Just to give you an idea, so the World Championship, for example, recently had the overall tournament recording peak viewership of over 4 million people, guys. Now that is quite low actually. I think we've seen higher in esports over the last few years, but that's a big one for sure, for over 4 million. So you can imagine the audience capacity in terms of advertising, commercial aspects and things like this. But I just wanted to gear ahead of that. That's just people watching live. Okay, so additionally to that, you're going to get people watching back, you're going to get people sharing, circulation, all this kind of stuff. So it's absolutely massive. And I worked alongside a lot of esports players over the last 4 or 5 years. I've met some incredible people through various teams. One in particular was like Team Dignitas, for example, that got purchased by an American company that owns like basketball teams, and I think Crystal Palace here in the UK as well. But it's absolutely incredible to see the transformation. All these gaming houses were built for the players. Some players were over on like something like 20, 30 grand a month, playing games all day, being a part of tournaments and winning prize money of millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's a gigantic market, guys. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm not going to put the audio on here, but I'll just give you an idea. I mean, this is one of the ones in Paris, 2017, to give you an indication of how they pack these arenas now. This is going from like internet cafes that I used to go to when I was a kid, playing LAN tournaments or trying to connect your N64 and stuff to the internet for the first time. But to take it to this level of online multiplayer activity is absolutely incredible. And one thing I would say, guys, is of course there's all these new games via blockchain. This is the beauty of it. All this play to earn mechanism, the NFTs. It's going to take gaming to another level, guys. Now, some of you might not be interested in gaming, but you might be at least interested in Veracity. And I want to show you what, like, these kind of reasons as to why Veracity is going to be such a beast, especially with that play to earn mechanism. But it's absolutely incredible how many people go and watch these physically. I've been fortunate enough to go to a few tournaments myself. Unfortunately, not good enough to probably play half these games. I mean, I'm quite good at Rainbow Six and CSGO on occasion. But these guys will be, the world's top best players. There's a multitude of different teams in the world, of course. Go check these kind of videos out. But also, go and watch this documentary. I watched this a few years back. It's called All Work, All Play, and it follows a few things, in particular some of the ESL guys from the introduction of esports and things like this, how it all came from internet cafes to where it is now. I mean, really exciting stuff. I definitely recommend going to take a look at that kind of video just to get a bit more of an understanding of where we've been and where we come to in gaming. And finally, a few things around audience growth, guys. I mean, they're looking really this is obviously not just one game. This is general data of esports in general. And look how far we're going to go. I mean, we're talking about probably, potentially. I mean, I think this is undervalued. I generally believe from the stats even that I was doing in presentations in, 2014, 15, I believe by 2025 we will probably hit that billion people viewership mark in terms of esports viewers, and of course the enthusiasm behind it, I'm sure, will go well over that 300 million mark as well. So there's lots of potential here. If you're a gamer, you're looking at a way to try and earn potential additional revenue through other platforms or things like Verasity esports players. It's a great opportunity for sure, and it's just the beginning. They will adapt this for sure. We saw the roadmap in the last video of what's to come for esports, but it's really exciting. And here's the e-player VRA Esports, and essentially log in, of course, so you can literally get up and running, get your earns of the VRA tokens. I think it's the 27th of this month. The launch is occurring around a tournament. If I'm not wrong, I think it's around AXIE as well. So want an AXIE plushie on your own, one way is to watch and earn the FTX Gal AXIE, very clever, Cup on VRA Esports starting November 27th. So keep an eye out for that, guys. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And of course, the FTX, I'm assuming that's the new sports arena in America, or one of. Definitely worth looking into that. But look at this kind of relationship to be related with AXIE Infinity, this big giant game. I think this is the kind of partnership that everyone's going to be really excited about. It's going to bring Verasity to another level. I am super excited, guys. Blockchain gaming, in my opinion, is going to take the world by storm. It's very early days. More and more people will figure it out as time goes on. But I'm looking forward to this. And that's just a couple of reasons why. You can also follow them on Discord. By all means, guys, add me as well. Screwing the Tuner is my gaming name. Story behind that. Anyone that knows Keenan and Kel will maybe remember the episode of Kel dropping a screw in the can of tuna, going to court and just continuously shouting, putting the screw in the tuna. So that's where it's come from. A bit of a conversation starter there. So guys, just take a look at all the projects going on Veracity's website and the roadmap. Check out some esports activities yourselves and you will understand where I'm coming from in the passion and the excitement behind these kind of projects. On that note, guys, let's go into the chart for Verasity. Smash that like button if you like what you're here and seeing. Guys, obviously we've had a bit of a tank down. We were going down that route anyway, generally. Of course, a lot of Bitcoin leveraging has kicked these big boosters down. And I think in general, to be honest, everyone's complaining about it, but actually we've talked about this in previous videos, right? When you see like big rises like these over a period of time, it doesn't always happen immediately, but certainly over a good period of time. We had 200% growth, which is absolutely phenomenal. As you know, we took some out at the top here. We've reinvested. We did put this buy area down here, and it appears we're bang on that right now. Will we come lower is the question. Well, to be honest, guys, that is possible. And the reason being, and we'll reiterate what we said in probably the last video or the video before this. I'm just going to draw in some areas here. So you see this area around here in April. These are obviously top points before we started attacking those areas again, round about beginning of September. And then a few take ups into price discovery mode, dragging it back to test these areas again. So what we can kind of understand now is we're kind of at the moment really testing this particular area around this just above the 5 cent mark. So we'll go into the MACD and stuff in a second and the RSI, but I wanted to pinpoint these particular areas in the chart. Okay, so the left hand side here, you could argue as it's floating literally right around now. Actually, I'm just going to put these lines in here and then we're going to zoom in a bit closer just so you can see what I am talking about here. So we've got those in there from historic data around here. We've got a couple of touch points at the lower regions here where we had the closes. We also had the area here in September where just about touches that bottom yellow line. So let's zoom in here a bit more and we'll see what we're discovering here. So there's our two orange lines in between. I'm going to get rid of them in a second just so you can see. Okay, just memorize those, guys. So we're around about this kind of area now. Okay, So let's just get rid of those, and we'll look consistently at the fib retracement line. So we've got the macro one here that I've drawn in, which is covering kind of around here, and we've got the longer term one here. What's happened? We're pretty much touching this area around here, which coincides with exactly what we just said, with hitting these lower points, hitting the resistance around this area, and then back as well around these old clotheslines. So it's an argument to say that we are trying to conclude 5 cents as a support mechanism. And what I mean by that is a long-term support mechanism so that we can continue Veracity's move upwards. And there is obviously a possibility that it could come lower than that if the bear positioning keeps going. And that's not a bad thing. But what usually will happen is we'll have a dip down and then a retracement up. And that's where we really confirm the 5 cents. I wouldn't just say, oh, we bounced off 5 cents, it's brilliant, it's done now. I would say that we probably might have a wick down before a rally up. And bringing it back to around 4.7 cents is certainly another area that I'd be interested personally in trying to accumulate some more. So I'm actually going to draw that in right now, just as a bit of a memory. So we're looking around about probably between that 4.9 mark and maybe 4.7. I'm just going to leave it in there. It doesn't necessarily immediately mean that's going to happen, but I'm putting it in there just to see if it's possible. Any kind of dip for me, an accumulation possibility with a saving is fantastic, especially, I mean, 1 cent can go a very long way if you're accumulating good amounts. That monetary value will be quite heavy if these numbers come in as we think they will for like the end of year and end of bull run marks, and of course in the future in general. So just putting this out, guys. I'm just going to adjust that slightly so we can see all the different things here. Right, let's concentrate on the RSI first, the green one. So on a 14-day, which is actually quite a good one really, because it's kind of covering from that top part to here. So it's fantastic. The RSI dropped yesterday to around 40.39. I think that's a very good buying area. It doesn't mean it's fully over. Sometimes I do wait for around the 35 mark as well. But what this gives you is, so you have an understanding, for me personally, when I'm working on like a 2-week area, sometimes on a 30-day, sometimes I put a 30-day RSI on here, but this is a really good one because it means we're reducing the risk if we're purchasing down here. It could come down lower, but it's not going to be a dramatic drop, right? But when you're buying down here, you've then got great indicators in a couple of weeks time when hopefully this pulls back up. To measure that fact in your mind, it's very easy maths really, to be honest. If you're buying at 40 and you're selling around the 80, you're obviously kind of doubling your position, right? But in a visual perspective, it's actually a lot nicer, in my opinion, to calculate your moves around this kind of mark. So you can change this RSI on most of your exchanges or charts that you're using to various different options. It could be things like you want to check the monthly one, you want to check a 6-month one because you bought stuff back 6 months ago. Oh, what's the move been since then? So there's loads of different ways you can do that and use that and look at it. Look at the MACD as well, in terms of over purchasing or overselling. We're obviously in the selling perspective. I really thought we were going to tail off, but then of course there was some leverages that were failing across the board. It's pulled the rest of the market down, so we're just continuing a bit of a wave up here. I do anticipate that to cool off now and start very gradually. It could mean that maybe towards the beginning of December we get stability and start pushing this up. And I think that kind of coincides with everyone's thoughts really at the moment, that we're going into 2022 for the full bull run. A lot of people were sort of anticipating around November, December, but I generally believe that we'll probably go a bit further than that, maybe up to March or April, potentially next year, who knows. But with eSports and everything like this, of course, we've got the launch of the eSports player and everything coming for next week for the tournaments, or the week after, sorry. So I think that might be something that drags this back up as people start earning the token and getting more awareness of it. That could be something that sort of tails us back up, as well as the general movement organically of Verasity. So we're in the bear market of this at the moment. It's good to keep your eye on potential buy opportunities a bit lower. I wouldn't be angry at getting them right now, or certainly if it was to come down to that 5 cent mark. But in general, I think Veracity's going to have a fantastic run in this bull run. I've always said that I think we could get to at least the 20 cent mark. Some people are saying more if they hit their roadmaps and exchange listings that they believe that will happen in tier ones. So there's lots going for it, guys. But yeah, I just wanted to make it a bit more positive. Like it's not sometimes great when people see a big dips and they get concerned. hold your bags, guys, and just accumulate more, because whether it be this year or in a few years time, Verasity is going to be an absolute giant in the space, in my opinion. It's so unique in its way as well. 9% down on the week, of course, understandable, and the month as well, kind of entailing with what we just said about the RSI. That's understandable, but look at that year to date, guys. What more proof do you need that this thing is growing? 12,500% year to date, 13.8 1,000% up on 1 year. Incredible. Imagine if you were doing that a year ago. Fair play to those that did. I'm still getting around to putting people's price predictions on the sheet. As you can see, I've still not got any further, but I have got records of them all, and I will be putting them in when I get some time, hopefully this weekend. But guys, hopefully that's a bit of a re-wrap for you. That's where I potentially think it may come down to eventually. But hopefully we'll see support just above this 5 cent line in relation to this fib retracement on the macro level, and arguably dipping around that longer term one. We might just get that as a confirmation support line. So it's going to be an interesting few days. But like I said, don't worry too much if it comes down a bit lower than that. It's just a great opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next Verasity update video. Bye-bye.